basically an agent of the court. That's who I report to. I don't work for the SEC. I don't work for the government. I don't work for myself. I'm an agent of the court. I'm a court-appointed fiduciary, and what a receiver does is his job is, his mandate is to secure assets for the benefit, for the estate. And by securing assets for the estate is there's only assets that are identifiable, but assets that may be in the hands of third parties or someplace out or have been alienated, and try to marshal those assets and bring them back to the estate, ultimately for the benefit of the creditors, which include the investor victim. You have dozens and dozens of bank accounts, brokerage accounts, credit card accounts that were utilized as part of these, the three receivership entities and by the defendants and insiders. So you've got to basically reconstruct the financial, the cash flow of tens of millions of dollars in and out of the receivership estate from about 1,800 investors back out. Money flows to third parties, back to investors, through dozens of, as I told you, dozens of different accounts at any one time, and obviously that's pretty hard. I mean, we've got a team of forensic accountants working, that have been working since the receivership, really, the inception of the receivership, to try to reconstruct those assets. But understand, books and records were somewhat in disarray when we came in, so we've had to go out through subpoenas and find those assets, figure out what bank accounts money's flowed in from, and then go subpoena those bank accounts in order to kind of reconstruct the financial picture over the last couple of years. Obviously, some monies are gone and gone forever. They've been spent. They've been utilized. They've been paid for rent and overhead and wasted for all intents and purposes. A lot of money has gone back to investors. So understand, we've got to kind of recreate that, figure out what the whole is and who's basically detriment that whole is out there for. For example, some investors or creditors may have gotten more money out than they put in, okay? And those investors obviously may have thought, hey, look, I made an investment, I'm getting distributions, but my principal is still intact. Well, in any scheme where new investors' monies are used to pay old investors, there are no dividends, there is no interest. You're getting, those old investors are getting new investors' monies. So to the extent overpayments have been made, those investors may think they have a claim, they may not have a claim. In fact, the estate may have a claim against them for the excess of what they were paid or the profits that they receive. Yeah, it's horrific, as you can imagine. I mean, you know, I've talked to a single mom who's had to go back to work, 2 kids, and what little she had, she invested in this. And I've talked to retirees who this was a portion of their nest egg. These were retirement funds. They took out qualified plans and invested. So it's awful. I mean, people's marriages are strained over this. This truly changes the trajectory of people's lives when they suffer losses in something like this. From the tone of some of the emails I've got, I mean, a lot of people are angry. They want justice done. I have to remind them, look, I'm not the SEC. I'm not the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm just trying to collect as much money as I possibly can. I can't right all the wrongs. I can't put people in jail. It's not my role. My role is literally to act almost as a calculator and figure out where monies are and whether or not people have valid claims, and then try to take what monies I can find and locate and recoup and try to pay those out in an orderly fashion.